Hey guys, I'm here to show you how to edit one of my templates. So after you've purchased one of the templates, download it to your computer and then go ahead and open it in Photoshop. Once you have it open in Photoshop, you want to make sure that you have the layers panel open, and then I also like to have my history panel open as well as my character panel open. The way that you get those is you go up to the top and you select window and click on character, history, and layers. After you have those windows open, you will see on the top three layers, you will have your trim guide, and your font links. So the very first thing that you would want to do after you have all of those windows open is you're going to want to download the fonts that are used on the template. So if you hit T on your keypad or come over and select your text tool over here, once you've selected that, you can click on the text box. So you're going to want to copy this web address and then go into your web browser, paste it in, and then download those fonts to your computer. All of the fonts are free, and once you have them downloaded onto your computer, you'll be able to edit the template with no problems at all. But make sure that you do download these fonts before you get started on editing the template. After you've done that, I would come over and you can either delete that layer, or just in case they didn't download correctly, just turn that layer off by selecting this little eyeball right here. Once you click that, it's no longer there. The other two layers on here that you want to make sure you are not seeing or are deleted before you save your final product are these two layers. So this is your trim guide, and then you also have your trim guide. So it shows your bleed, your trim line, and your safe area. So these are 5x7 templates, usually. This one is. And so it is actually 5.25 by 7.25. And when you print these, they're going to be 5x7. So an eighth inch all around the outside is going to get trimmed, and most photo labs will require that you send your images with the bleed because trimming does occur when printing happens. If you are not sure if the place you're printing at requires a bleed or not, just call them and ask and they will let you know. So when I edit, I like to have just this gray border up to know, to make sure my lettering is centered and that there are no, issues with having everything look right to the eye. So I always keep that up when I'm editing, but this other guide, you want to make sure that all of your text is always within that safe area. Sometimes when printing happens, things can get moved a little to the left or right or up and down, and so that just ensures that nothing important is going to be trimmed off while printing. But like I said, while I'm editing, I just like that trim guide up. I will also show you at the end, if you are just using this template as like a digital file, how to get rid of that extra area around the outside, like I said, just for your digital file. Okay, so now we are in. We have our fonts downloaded. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is open up any photos that you're going to want to use. So the way that you're going to do that is just come up to the top, File, Open. And from there, you're going to open up the pictures that you would like to use. So I have opened my picture. Once you open your pictures, you're going to see the different tabs up at the top here. And once you have that picture open, this is the part where a lot of people get hung up. A lot of times they can come in and figure out the text, but they can't get the pictures in their template. And it's super easy. I have clipping masks on all of my templates. So you're going to want to come to your layers, and you are going to want to find your photo mask. You can actually even select your move tool and click right on that photo mask. If that doesn't work, you can come over to your layers and select the photo mask. So along with my photo masks, I also have a little layer that says insert photo below. So make sure you are clicked on the photo mask layer, not the insert photo below layer. You want to be on the photo mask layer. Once you are like that, come back up to your tabs, click on the photo that you want in, select your move tool, click on the photo, and don't let up, but drag it into the other tab and drop it. So now you can see that that picture is in the template, but it is not sized correctly. So you're going to want to kind of zoom out to find the edges of this picture, and you just resize it. And you drag those corners in. And see, the cool thing about this is I can just move it and it just stays clipped to that photo area. And so I want it a little bit smaller. Just kind of move it right where I want it. Once I have it exactly right, I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to make it the right size for that image or for that photo mask. Okay, once I've done that, I'm going to start with my text. So some of my templates, like this welcome, this is a shape layer. So it can be resized. See, oh, if I got to hold shift to size that one correctly, I can resize it. And I can also come over here to my layers. And if I click on this little teeny thumbnail with this square, if I double click on that, I can change it any color. But with the color picker, I can come and I can make it match anything on this template by clicking. If the photo, you know, if there's like a bow I want to match, I can click on the bow. This bow doesn't really show color great for that. But like I said, I can just make it any color. I'm going to leave it though the color it was, so I'm going to hit cancel. Some of my templates like this one, I have that available in gold too. So I would click whichever layer I wanted on. I would have that eyeball on. So I have welcome looking the way I want it to. So now I'm going to move on to, I can just kind of follow my way down. This photo has a border right here. Once again, see how this has the little square right here? I can double click on that. And I can make that any color. I could make it white, I could make it purple, I could make it match the bow, anything I want. Once again, I'm going to hit cancel. I want to leave it that light pink color. So then I come down to the baby name, and that is where I'm going to start inputting my text. So I also have, when I have my layers, I name them kind of the title that they are, but then I also let you know what font it is, just so you can make sure that you have downloaded that font. If you miss that step, you're going to want to re-show the layer that had the font links, and then you will copy paste that web address, copy paste it to your browser, and follow the steps and download that font to your computer. Okay, so I'm clicked on the baby's name that I want to edit. Once again, I can hit T to select the text tool, or come over and select the text tool from here. Now I can click on it. I'm going to hit Command A, that highlights the entire name, and I'm going to type in my baby's name. Okay, so now that is changed. Now I can click on the next one, birth date and stats. Once again, its font name is right there. I'm going to make sure my text tool is selected, click on it, and change the date. Let's say June 20th, 2019. 7 pounds, 1 ounce, 19 inches, and the time was, let's say, 1:30 a.m. And then I can either come up here to get off that text, I can click on the move tool, or I could just click on a different layer. And then welcomed with love by, we'll say, Matthew, Jane, and Logan. Click off that layer. And then I have my background layer. And that background layer is just locked. The floral art is merged. Most of the templates, the floral art will be merged with the background. So now I look at it and it looks exactly how I want it. I can, if I wanted, select the move tool and click any of the texts, and using my keypad or my mouse, I could, rearrange those and move those a little bit. Another thing I do want to show you, let's say that the name you were going to type in, so I'm selecting my text tool and clicking on the name. Let's say that the name was really long and I needed it to be smaller. That's why I like to have this character window open. This is where I can come and I can change the text size. So let's make it, like I said, a little bit smaller. The other thing that a lot, so this gives all caps. I can turn all caps off. This is bold, italics, small caps. Those are all the things I can do. Another thing that a lot of my templates have is this little spot where I can make the text spaced wider. So the higher that number is, the wider each letter is spaced. The lower that number is, they get closer together. Like I said, a lot of my templates have the text spaced out. You can also change the color of the text right there too. You can click color. Once again, color picker tool. Oh, I wasn't highlighted. Let's go back. Okay. Oh, I guess I have to hit OK first. That's not usually how I change the text. So see, that changed it. The other way I like to do it, highlight and over down on these little colors down here. If I click on those, once again, I can use the color picker and change it colors. Let's just do right this darker pink so we can see. And then see that changed the color. On this template, now I also, like I told you, I like to have my history tab open. So that's over here in my center, and if I just click back, it undoes everything I just did. And you can go all the way back, I can go all the way back to the beginning, or I can come to where I was, but I'm just going to undo one step. Another thing I want to show you, I'm going to change the color of this. So select my text tool, come down here, Command A, and I'm going to make that just a little bit of a darker pink. So I select that light pink, but I just kind of want it darker. Hit OK. So that just made it a little bit darker. And you can also change the text or the font. So I've selected the name. Let's just make it a different font. And it's a different font. So like I said, any of those you can change. The only time you can't change the font or the spacing is when the text is a shape layer. And that is done a lot of times if it's a commercial font that you wouldn't be able to use for free. So I make it into a shape layer. So it's a word art. Okay, so now like I said, it looks good. It is ready to send to the printer. So it's very important, go back to that it's usually one of the top 3 layers, turn off that trim guide. I see sometimes where people print them with that border. You don't want that border. So from here, you are going to save this file. So File, Save As. And I'm going to save it as announcement, and I like to save these with name it with bleed. Then I just know that it is my file that has that bleed. If I'm sending them online and I know that I've used the right file, it's the one with the bleed. So I save that. And then earlier I talked about if I'm not wanting to print this, or if my printer does not want to bleed, then I'm going to want this to be exactly 7 by 5. I don't want that extra area on the outside. So I'm going to come up here to image, not image size, but canvas size. And I'm going to change that to 7 by 5. And it's going to tell me that trim or clipping occurs, and I want that, and I select OK. And that is how it will look after print. So I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to name that No Bleed. And save it. Oh, I didn't save the last one. Anyway, save it as a JPEG. So let's go back in and resave. Once again, so now my history is open. Whenever you save this final file as a PSD, make sure you save it before you do that trimming. There's a lot of times I've done the trimming and then I realize that I had an error. And if I've already clipped that edge off and saved it, I can't go and regain that edge. So you want to make sure you save your PSD file that has the bleed. Always to be safe, I even always will turn that trim guide back on and then go File, Save. So that's how my PSD file is saved. But like I said, I made that mistake, so I'm going to turn that off, and I want to go File, Save As, the one with the bleed, and save it as a JPEG. So now you can see I have saved my files with the bleed and that's my Photoshop file saved with the bleed, but that is not what I would be sending to print. As you can see, this is my Photoshop file, which, like I said, is not what I'm going to send to the printer, but I do like to keep that border on just so I know I haven't actually saved it already trimmed as my Photoshop file. And then I have my no bleed, and that is how it will look when it is printed. So I'm going to cancel that. All right, guys, well, I hope that you enjoyed my tutorial and that it helped you guys be able to get your template looking exactly how you want. If you have any questions, you can always email me and I am happy to answer them. And thank you for purchasing my template. Have a great day.